Hey. Well, this is prom with their 18, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear anything?
No.
No, so I'll turn the audio up. So while that's showing, I'm gonna read some of these comments. So it says the family says the daughter's boyfriend asked to marry her before prom. What's your reaction? Follow up daily marriage portion. Okay, it says the fiance's father, family chicken and waffles wrote, I am a proud father. Devontae is 19, graduated 2024, has two jobs, makes over 40K, drives a 2025 new car. Nivea, my daughter, a senior, is 18, drives and owns a Range Rover Velar, passed Pennsylvania cosmetology exam, and is heir to the family restaurant.
He
Yeah.
said, I'm just confused at what the cars have to do with anything, but I think with him having a car, I guess he's showing. I guess they both are.
But they're established, right? They have vehicles. She ain't driving his car, and he ain't driving her car. And I done seen folks in their 30s with this problem. Okay.
Yeah, sure. No, but I get where people may feel some type of way about it because they're like, oh, you haven't really lived yet, too young, this, that, and the third. But I think if you're mature and you kind of got your life in order, there are some people who are young who kind of got it and have an understanding of what life is. It could be ready for marriage, especially if they had good examples from their own parents and
Mm-hmm.
family members, things like that. So I don't find an issue. Yeah, as long as they're of legal age. So yeah, 18 and over, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it's all about the maturity level. Now, if I had a kid and they were 18 and I find that they're not mature, I'd be like, you are definitely not ready for marriage. Just don't do it. You're not ready for that. You're not
Right.
ready for that world. But if you're mature enough, you have an understanding of what marriage really means. You're in your word as well in the Bible and understanding what marriage means and having God centered. I don't see a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Jay said some people get married at 13. Oh yeah. How is it legal? How if legally they can't give consent? Yeah, if legally children can't give consent unless they're 18. I was just telling Roger, um, child marriage in Colorado just became illegal a few years ago.
I thought it just became legal. I was like, wow, we're
No,
going back.
it just became illegal. It's been legal for decades, if not centuries or so, but it just became illegal maybe less than 5 years ago
I didn't
Oh
know that.
wow,
in Colorado. Yes.
I'm like,
I
and her
didn't know
dad
that.
approves of it. I think that's even dope. I think that's even more dope. Her dad sees, if especially if your dad, like, come on, like, mom is different, but if your dad is seeing that a man is okay with, for you, I think that, girl, you better. Yeah. And, of course, people think, you're going to read some of the comments, but it's like, of course, people think they're too young, but mainly, when they want them, oh, they haven't lived life, they're talking about they haven't had sex. They
Yeah.
haven't had sex and explored the drinking and the partying.
Yes.
So that's really what they really be meaning, as if you can't, learn to grow with the person and all those things. And I personally believe that most, not all, but I think that especially black men are more likely to stay alive and to become more established when they do get married younger.
Hmm.
I
I
agree.
just I've seen it and witnessed it, and yeah, but by the time
Mhm.
those men turn 35, 40, they're millionaires, and they don't have to worry about trying to find a woman who's not using them for money, because they found their wives when they was in middle school, high school,
Mhm.
all those things. So I think that's smart. If you're doing it and God's not telling you to do it, then of course you're gonna, But if God is telling you to do that, then you do that thing.
Mhm.
And I want to chime in on that because I like the fact that you said that, usually men who are gotten older and became more established, more money, they'd have to kind of go through a sea of women who are not trying to use them. It is better to come up with a woman rather than already have come up and then trying to find one.
Right.
Because it's a I think it becomes a needle in a haystack when trying to find a woman later in life, and that's kind of the stigma that's being pushed nowadays. You know, a lot of men are telling other men, "Yeah, get your money up, get your bread up, and you can have so many options in women." And it's like, do you really want a whole lot of options in women? Because you're gonna have to go through a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
Since you
know.
said that, we're gonna read some of the comments. Go ahead, Hira.
I'm just like, at least they want to get married. At least marriage is on their mind. Because honestly, the dating pool in 2025 is not that appetizing anyway. So if you're blessed enough to find someone that at a young age, whatever age you are, if you're young enough and you find someone that you genuinely see yourself being with for the rest of your life, I say go for it, because it's not very many appetizing people out here, if I'm being honest. Like, it's disgusting to me. But I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Like, you know, if marriage is on your mind. I saw best friends comment about gender reveals. A lot of my friends that I've had are either pregnant or just had a baby or baby on the way or whatever the case is, and they don't have a very negative things to say about that, you know, because like I said, people really genuinely believe that marriage is a bigger commitment than having a child, which is insane. A child is something you can't get out of.
Yeah.
Unless you do some evil, unexpected things. But
yeah,
normal people can't get out of having children. And it's like, people think, oh, you're just around that person until you're 18, you know. No, because if your child gets married and your child's graduating college and your child has different things going on, they're going to want to have both of their parents there. So you're with that person for the rest of your life. Marriage, you know, you're not supposed to get out of it. That's not how you should go into it. But it's less of a commitment than having a child, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I think. But
yeah, I mean, you can undo a marriage. You can't undo a baby.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you could. I mean, you could in a way.
Unless you
you could in a way, but that's even worse. All the consequences you got to experience with that. But
exactly.
Absolutely. So my comment is, we've been married 18 years since we were 19 and 20 years old. As long as they put the Lord first, get premarital counseling, they can absolutely make it. Keep the jealous-hearted folks far away. We should be so done with baby mama, baby daddy culture. They can be married and attend college. It will protect them from all the temptation and toxic culture in colleges. What I believe. Trin said it wouldn't be a problem if she was pregnant doing a gender reveal. I love this and pray that they live and grow together in peace. Because that's what it is. Yeah. Somebody under her said, y'all will raise y'all grandchildren, throw a baby shower, and show the baby off, but a marriage is a nope.
Seriously.
It was more people like, oh, no way. It says, y'all quick to say they too young for marriage, but stay quiet when young people have sex or baby showers. Why the outrage when people want to do things the right way? And a lot of this is a black man said, yeah, nope. Try it again in 5 to 8 years, bro. Live your life first and go to school. Not my daughter. Nope, not my daughter, but so amazing for others. Why does it matter what car they drive? That's what Trent said. Assuming he already received the father's blessing, where's the problem? They're too young, have a whole lot of life lessons, experiences ahead of them. And that's my mind too. Folks saying, oh, experience life. What folks are saying, sleep around, have a couple of abortions and find out, then see if you want to settle that.
Drink and go to the club. Like, people think that living life is not having a family, like having stability, where you have a family, you have your own house, you have your own car, you're doing good in life. That's not life to people. Life is go to the strip club, you know, become a stripper if you want, you know, sleep around, drink as much as you can, mess up your livers. Like, it's really people don't think that life is meant to be where you're with one person and you can enjoy life with one person. That's also enjoying your life and living your life with one person. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. It's like, do a lot of bad before you actually become a good person.
Yeah. Be a bad person first, and then you can come back in 5-6 years if you make it, if you're alive. Then come back and try to do it again.
Right.
Just don't die. Don't die out there.
Just
ridiculous. I mean,
Exactly.
Go
so
crazy, survive if you can, then decide that you want to live right. Yeah,
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 if you survive out
yeah.
here, then you'll know you're ready for marriage. Then you'll know.
Yeah,
But
that
you
is
got to
so
survive out
crazy.
here first. You got to be as miserable as we are, and then
Yeah,
you can go
Like,
off.
why would you want that for someone? Why would you
yeah.
want someone to have lived those life lessons by themselves, go through all of that? Like, why would you want that for someone?
Jealousy,
That is just that's.
jealousy, and envy that they
And then
couldn't
we
do it.
wonder why we be seeing,
Mhm.
if black men do get married, young, they're marrying white women out of
Mm-hmm.
college and things
Yeah,
of that nature, and
yeah,
yeah, and then once again we wonder why what every 1 in 4 black women get married
mm,
and all these things, and then we see all the white women, they all got rings and get married as soon as they graduate, and it's like
yeah,
because we're, I guess in the black community it's, oh, you're too young, you're not too young to have sex, you're not too young to have a baby,
yeah.
but marriage is
Mhm.
way too young, like Lord have mercy.
Lord, that's sad and crazy. What a man said, if any of my children get married straight out of graduation, I would have to speak my piece so they can't say nobody warned them. Yeah. Oh yeah, still let them know. Like let them know how the there's gonna be rough. Still let them know that that's life. It's like you're gonna be warning your kids in every area of their lives, not just marriage, but let them know it's gonna be hard. And but we need more programs that support this, that support young people getting married. That's why I want to do premarital counseling for you young people when y'all do start to get married, like to support y'all in that process from the beginning.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I think about that is just choosing your hard, like choosing your difficult, because
yeah,
marriage is difficult. Running around in these streets is also difficult. People don't want to admit that,
yeah,
but I know a lot of people probably go to sleep at night with demons all in their corners thinking about how many people they slept with.
yeah,
Like, you just got to pick your difficult because marriage, no doubt about it, it's difficult, but sleeping around and possibly getting beat on, having kids, a bunch of baby daddies, that sounds hard too.
That sounds even harder.
Right. So it's like you gotta pick which one you want, man.
yeah,
Yeah, pick your struggle.
Real.
So,
yeah,
but I was just saying, like, also, I wish that there were more, like you said, the support in the beginning and also after the honeymoon, because it's
yeah,
like, I was telling you, like, we as women are groomed, especially in America, we're groomed and we're trained to want to get married, meaning the
yeah,
ring and the wedding and the honeymoon, but there's no guidance, there's no mentorship, there's no all this stuff after the
yeah,
honeymoon,
yeah,
like the journey through that. It's like, okay, you guys did you did the premarital counseling, whatever. It's like, yeah, some people still do marriage counseling or whatever, but it's almost like people let the couple go
yeah,
after
yeah.
the ring and the wedding, and it's like if we
Sure.
just had more training on how to be married,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be
Mm-hmm.
a lot easier. So it's like, yeah, you tell them they're too young. Okay, they get married, help them. Help them, give them guidance. Don't just,
Yeah,
oh well, you're too young and you got married too young, and so you're just gonna have to deal with X, Y, and Z. Like, help them. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. People
I-
would rather hate than help. They
yeah,
don't want to help people. They
yes.
rather hate
So
on them.
true. I also think too it's based off of who you're talking to too, because there's some people who don't have any experience with a marriage or even a long-term relationship. It's easy to say, wait because you don't know yourself.
yeah,
Whereas, somebody who's older, somebody who's been married at least 10 years plus to tell you what it is, like you have to get that advice from someone who actually knows what they're saying, has actually experienced it. And unfortunately in the Black community, we don't have a lot of that.
sure.
It's become a rarity to even see Black folk
Mm-hmm.
be married for a long period of time. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have gotten divorced early, or the baby mama baby daddy situation, and
Yeah.
have not actually lived a real experience being in a long-term relationship, getting to know the different seasons of a person.
Right, right.
Because we all change, like we all do. Like one year we might be one person, 2 3 years later we might be a totally different person,
Yes.
different mindset, things like that, and you have to work through
Yes.
that too.
Yes.
Not a lot of people have been able to actually experience that, so it's about who you're talking to as well. Where are
Mm-hmm.
you getting that advice from?
Absolutely. Like you said, the seasons of people are so true. Like you said that. So what a man said, if they're willing to accept the trials and tribulations of not even knowing themselves yet, blessings to you. Oh yeah, because it's
All
gonna be
right.
like you and I look at it, I look at it like this. No matter how well you know yourself as a single person, when you get married, that person is going to expose things in you did not know existed. So regardless
Yeah.
of, you're going to be the person, you know who you are right now is going to have to die anyway when you get married. That person is going to be
Mm,
non-existent. So that's a reality. I think a lot of, and I think a lot of single women are afraid of this fact, why they, why it's like, oh, hard to get married, because it's like, oh, I'm not going to be this person anymore. Yeah, you'll still be you, but where you've been able to think about yourself for so long, now when you get married, you'll have to think about the other person.
yeah.
Now your priority becomes meeting the other person's needs, but according to what thus says the Lord, first of all. But that's what marriage is, prioritizing each other. As long as that person is in prioritizing you, you should be prioritizing them, and that's how we both get our needs met.